Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙍𝙁𝙄𝙄𝙀. Today we are looking at this rig that I've put together. It is a C200 shoulder mount action cam. Canon Cinema cameras have never been a good fit for shoulder mounted. This is mainly because they came from Canon's existing DSLR sort of ecosystem, and as a result they had their EVF on the back of the camera, which makes it really hard to put something on your shoulder and bear the weight of the camera and the lens if you're holding it right in front of your face. The touch EVF that comes with the camera sort of, if you put it on your shoulder, sits so uncomfortably close to your face that it makes you kind of go cross-eyed. And if you start investing in arms to push the monitor further and further away, it either gets too small, you have to get a bigger monitor, then it's even more forward weighted. It has just been a bit of a struggle. Canon does make a pretty brilliant EVF themselves, but it is significantly more. This is the PortKeys. I think the model number is the 𝙁𝙁. It retails for around $1,000, $1,100. It is a 1080 closed system. It has a DTAP to a 4-pin LEMO. It also has HDMI, SDI in, and SDI out. So you can run SDI through this to another monitor if you're using a second monitor for, say, a focus puller. I have it on a shape cage with a small rig arm that is on a NATO rail. And I have these very cool new SHAPE 15mm rail handles that aren't too long, that allow you to keep your hands very close to your body when you're operating. I personally like to usually grab onto the mat box of the camera because it's a more direct feel than having long arms. And also it's easier for me to hold because if you think about it, you can hold much more weight here than you can with your arms outstretched. The straighter your arm is, the less weight you can hold. On this rig, I also have the SHAPE battery plate with a nice heavy 270 watt-hour SHAPE battery. It's called a full play with the Teradek TX on the back of that. Though I don't have it running through the EVF right now because it's more of a run and gun sort of rig. The reason that I've inverted the plate is that so when it sits on your shoulder, the weight is below your shoulder, and it also acts as sort of a stop plate that you can push against to get a nice compact unit. You can have your arms nice and close to your chest. You can reach up and get to the follow focus here. I have the Sigma C35 on. And you can see that my spine stays pretty straight when I have my eye on the EVF. I see too many people who are reaching up for the EVF or reaching out to get to the eyepiece, which after a couple of minutes gets really old. The whole rig is really nicely balanced. I can hold it with one hand. I don't have a shoulder plate on here because I like to use a shoulder pad that's on my shoulder rather than on the camera. And this means that I can move the camera around on my shoulder rather than move the plate around on the camera. This just gives me more flexibility. I have found that you need to push your eye pretty hard onto the cup of the EVF to get it to a position where it gives you a clear image. Otherwise, the side sort of blurs. The SHAPE handles let you reposition the angle of that you're holding it with just the push of a button rather than having to unscrew something, which is great. And generally, I found it pretty helpful. The one downside is that the air vent for the C200 is sort of right in your ear. So I've taken to wearing an earplug in this ear so that I don't have constant wind blowing, or headphones and connect them to the headphone jack of the camera. I've left the plate on the bottom so I can just click it back in to the tripod when I'm not using it. I have found this rig super helpful for action style shoots or even just dialogue shots when the person is sitting down into the shot. So you basically need a crane to do this if the person walks in and then sits down as they're talking. But with a handheld rig, you're able to just track with the person as they come in, sit down with them, and then stand up again if that's the way they walk out. It is a really nice, fun little rig to put together. It is really nicely weighted. I'll link to the shoulder pad that I have. It's actually at home right now because I was using it yesterday, but I find it much more comfortable than a dedicated shoulder pad on the camera for that reason that you're able to control where the camera sits depending on where you're shooting. If you're shooting high, it can sit back. If you're shooting low, it can sit down. And also it just feels, it's a lot easier to go between tripod and handheld without the dedicated mount on the rig. That is my kind of action cam run and gun. I've got another video coming up about the 3 best ways to use handheld, so watch out for that. Check the description for the links. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.